Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm attempting an ambitious top 16 naval wargames to play in 2024. As this is a big list, I'm going to keep it to a description and a little bit of my own experience with the game. The list also has no particular order, however I have put the titles I prefer playing higher up the pecking order. On this channel we also have quite a wide definition of what constitutes a wargame, so it's going to be quite a varied list. But I do hope that it's valuable and you either go back and explore games that you forgot about, or you even discover some hidden gems that you never knew of. I'm going to give World of Warships an honourable mention, though for me it's more of an arcade title. I did play it on Xbox and enjoyed my time with it overall. It's not going to feature on this list, but I wanted to recognise it. I also did trim this list slightly and removed a couple of titles. It could have been a top 20. However, if you think I'm missing something, do put it in the comments below. It's always great for me to discover new games. Just like you, I'm a fan and it is my ultimate joy in life to find titles that I never knew of. Okay, I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet, but do make sure to support us by liking, commenting and subscribing. Every bit of interaction helps the channel and we're growing at a super fast rate. We need your support as always. And kicking off the list today is U-Boat, where you get to experience the tense realism of commanding a World War II submarine in a thrilling survival sandbox where every decision matters. Manage your crew as you navigate the treacherous waters of the Atlantic, where your boat is both sanctuary and potential tomb. Dive into the immersive world of German sailors and witness the challenges they faced. Will you guide your crew to victory or succumb to the depths? This game originally hit early access in 2019 and it has had consistent updates, but you would say it's gone a little slow and the frustrations have played out in the Steam reviews lately. However, overall it is rated very positive with an 82% rating. Next on the list is War on the Sea, where you get to command ships, submarines and aircraft in the South Pacific during World War II. Now this title was super exciting when it was released, but it's only received sporadic updates during its lifespan. This is a little bit disappointing as the base product is really strong and it has a huge amount of potential. I will say it's still fun to play today and is one of the most enjoyable naval wargames on this list. I had to include it because I had so much fun with this title and I still jump back in from time to time. Make sure to check it out, but don't expect any updates that quickly. Next up, we have Naval Hurricane, a turn-based tactical game about war at sea between the British Royal Navy and Imperial German Navy during World War I. One of the really strong appeals about this game is the World War I subject matter. I got very into Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts and I really love those type of battleships, and of course many wargames focus on the Second World War, so it was very refreshing to see a naval title primarily focused on this era. You will get to command powerful dreadnoughts, fast destroyers and stealthy submarines, conduct artillery battles, torpedo attacks and fight for the survivability of damaged ships. Now this game has been in early access since the 16th of November 2022 and originally I covered it in a first impression style video. I was impressed with the title at the time and it would seem that the developer has continued updating this, with the last update coming on March 18th, 2024. Progress has been slow, but this is a one-man studio and I think we need to take the cost into account. It only costs at full price €8.19. So if you're willing to join a long-term adventure into the early access wargame, I think this could be for you. However, if you're one of those people who hates early access, then you might want to stay away. As a gamer who's focused on the long term, I don't mind waiting around for these sort of one-person projects. I mean, this isn't Microsoft or Electronic Arts, this is a small one-man team who's basically doing this as a hobby, so I really think that you need to have some patience if you want to get on board. As they say, variety is the spice of life, and I like to offer you a lot of different options with these lists. And if you're down for some turn-based World War I naval battles, then definitely check out Naval Hurricane. And we move swiftly along. Embark on a strategic voyage through history with Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail, crafted by the masterminds behind the acclaimed Ultimate General series. Immerse yourself in the tumultuous naval battles of the American Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. Command mighty fleets, chart your course through epic campaigns, and rewrite history on the high seas. Are you ready to seize your place in naval legend? This one is of course published and developed by Game Labs and is rated mostly positive on Steam with a 79% rating. It's also a game I've recently returned to, as I often do jump into this era of history wargaming. It's one of my favourites, and this really does have some great details for the age of sail. Definitely an underrepresented era in wargaming. Coming up next, we have Atlantic Fleet. This is a game that highlights strongly turn-based tactical and strategic naval combat. Atlantic Fleet puts you in command of the Allies or the German Navy in the longest military campaign of World War II, the Battle of the Atlantic. In this title, you get to take command of surface ships, submarines, as well as carrier and land-based aircraft in a deadly struggle. Now, this game came out in 2016, and it is an older title, but still stands up well today. It's very small in its install size, so if you're looking for something that works on the Steam Deck, it's a great option for you. And the combat in this title is still engaging and fun, especially if you're a fan of the turn-based tactical element. On the graphics side of things, of course, it has aged, but it stands up pretty well compared to a lot of more simplistic wargames. It always surprises me just how popular the naval titles are on our wargames list, so definitely check this one out if you're looking for that naval fix. The game also has a massive amount of content with 3 main game modes. There are over 30 historical standalone combat missions, campaigns of 50 missions per faction, and a full dynamic campaign that runs from 1939 to 1945. There are also 62 historical ship classes representing over 630 ships and 450 submarines. I mean, you're not going to get bored easily. It's rated very positive on Steam with an 85% overall rating and is playable on the Steam Deck. The next game I debated heavily whether to include on the list, and it is Naval Action. This title is a hardcore, realistic and beautifully detailed naval combat sandbox immersing players into the experience of one of the most beautiful periods of naval history, when sailing ships ruled the seas. And that's exactly the reason why eventually I decided to include it, because of the time period. Due to constant player wipes during updates, the game has recently received a lot of negative feedback. However, they decided to go free to play, so there's really nothing to lose but your time if you decide to try this one out. I have to say, personally, I did enjoy my time with this game and decided to include it on the list in the end. Next up, we have NavalArt, where you get to design your own warships, equip them with a variety of armaments and bring them out to the ocean to find victory on the high seas. This game has a high customization element, so if you're into designing your own ships, it's really going to be for you. It has been in early access for quite some time, but has received regular updates, but it would be great to see them get this to full release. However, it's been received very positively in the Steam reviews and is rated 91% overall. Sailing its way onto this list is Destroyer the U-Boat Hunter. It brings you an authentic and historically accurate destroyer simulation, along with gripping anti-submarine warfare set in the turmoils of the Atlantic Ocean during World War II. The game definitely has a learning curve and is quite technical to play, but it is fun trying to hunt down submarines and stop them from destroying your fleet. I played this mainly when it came out, and I have been keeping an eye on its development, but it has dropped recently to 77% ratings on Steam as mostly positive. I do think they need to make some improvements here to really push it over the line. Moving on, we have Microprose's Boat Crew. Experience the gripping action strategy of this title as you command your PT boat in the Pacific War against Imperial Japan. Manage resources and personnel with skill and determination to secure victory in this high-stakes conflict. This one is a relatively new title and is still in early access, but has received some really good feedback. Players really enjoy zooming around in their tiny PT boat, being a real pain in the ass to the enemy. It's doing exceptionally well and is rated very positive on Steam with an overall 89% rating. Sailing onto the list next is Wolfpack, where you get to step into the immersive world of World War II U-boat warfare with this realistic co-op simulation game. Work together with your crew to man the stations and navigate the tense atmosphere of underwater combat. Join forces with other crews to form a formidable Wolfpack and tackle missions based on iconic events from German U-boat history. Dive into solo play for an intense experience like no other. I think if you can find a group to play with, this is one of the best games on the list, and that is reflected in the recent reviews, which are very positive. Overall, it's rated 89%. A very technical title that will be great to pick up and play with a group of friends or even other LT gamers. And the next title, Rule the Waves 3, leans heavily on the gameplay element. Dive into the world of naval supremacy with Rule the Waves 3, a thrilling simulation game spanning naval ship design, construction, fleet management and warfare from 1890 to 1970. Experience the evolution of naval technology and strategy as you command mighty fleets and dominate the seas in this epic journey through history. This is definitely one for the hardcore wargaming enthusiast, and I did take a look at it on the channel and really enjoyed my time with it. Overall, it's rated very positive on Steam with an 89% rating. Coming onto the list next is Carrier Battles 4 Guadalcanal Pacific War Naval Warfare. Now that is definitely a long game title. However, it wouldn't be a proper war list unless we included some hardcore hex encounter style games. They are really my favourite overall. And Carrier Battles is a classic hex encounter digital war game covering the naval air battles of the Pacific War from 1942 to 1943. You have to find your opponent and strike at him before he sinks your precious carriers while preventing them from invading and also supporting your own amphibious operations. The game is brought to you by our friends at Avalon Digital and overall is rated very positive at 87%. Definitely a title for you to go and pick up. And we move onwards to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, where you get to design warships the way you want them, command fleets, and try and win the naval arms race for your nation. This was a game that I played a huge amount on the channel, and I even did a number of quick battles. Though I have to say my favourite part of it was the American Civil War ironclads, but it is a pretty good title that's improved steadily during its time. However, for me, the fun is definitely in the quick battles and the custom setups. The campaign mode just never quite got there. However, I will say I think it's a little bit underrated on Steam at 72% mostly positive. This was due to the fact that they suddenly released it out of early access into the full release and people were a bit shocked. It's really a great title that I had hours of fun with. And we roll on to Command Modern Operations, a very complex strategy war game brought to you by Slitherine. This game represents the pinnacle of cross-domain modern wargaming, ushering in the next generation of immersive gameplay. With its advanced capabilities, it empowers players to simulate a vast array of military engagements spanning from the aftermath of World War II to the contemporary era and beyond. While its primary focus lies on tactical and operational scales, Command Modern Operations also offers the flexibility to undertake strategic level operations, providing players with a comprehensive and dynamic gaming experience unparalleled in its depth and realism. This game lets you model absolutely any type of military engagement, and one of my favourite things to do was to get different fighter jets from the Cold War era and put them up against each other. You can do this in a scenario-based environment or play out entire campaigns. It also comes with a number of different DLC purchase options if you want to expand your military conflicts. There is everything available from the conflicts in the Middle East to the Falklands War. Now this package is expensive, and if you start to purchase DLC, it can really start to add up, but you can get absolutely years of gameplay out of this title. And overall, this has to be one of my favourite complex war games to play in 2024. And talking of hardcore wargaming enthusiasts, the next title really does take it to the next level. It's War in the Pacific, Admirals Edition. This enhanced version of the base game takes the acclaimed War in the Pacific to new heights, with improved gameplay, heightened realism, and unrivaled historical accuracy. Dive into a world of strategic depth with dozens of new features, stunning art, and engine enhancements that will immerse you like never before. This really is a strategy game that's on another level of complexity. I've taken a bit of a surface dive into this one, but it's certainly one I really want the time to explore in the future. At the moment, it's just not a possibility for me to dive deep into it. It's certainly a game that I have a lot of ambition to play more in the future. If you're looking to pick this one up, you'll have to do it through the Matrix or Slitherine store, as it's not available on Steam. I just didn't think that a naval wargaming list could be complete without including this title. And finally, to finish this list, we have a game that I've played a huge amount of and I think is a really great naval wargaming experience overall. The game is Cold Waters. Cold Waters is inspired by the 1988 classic Red Storm Rising. You command a nuclear submarine in a desperate attempt to prevent mutually assured destruction when the Cold War gets hot and World War III begins. Although the game came out in 2017, it's a really great representation of real-time naval combat, with over 40 classes of ships and submarines meticulously researched. There's also a dynamic campaign where your performance matters, and it is playable on the Steam Deck, which is always important to me. So there we go, LT Gamers, an absolutely epic top 16 list of naval wargames. Who knew there were so many quality titles out there? There are definitely more titles out there, as I did cut some from this particular list, so make sure to put your suggestions down below. Perhaps there's a lot of older titles that I missed that you might include. I will also say, moving forward, there's some really exciting naval wargames on the horizon. Let's hope they reach their potential and come to fruition. There's absolutely loads of upcoming, forgotten, and even current wargaming videos on LT Gaming. Make sure to go and check those out. If you've enjoyed this particular list, give it a like, comment below anything that you want, and also subscribe if you're new here. It really helps drive our growth. It's super important for niche channels like ourselves, so make sure to go and smash the like button and do all those really cool things that other YouTubers say. I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and I'll catch you on the next one.